Pregnancy is a journey. We perceive pregnancy as a sickness. We think we are ill because we never prepared for it.
Not everybody has to be a mother, first of all. Because just because you can have a child, it doesn't mean you should have a child.
There's what we call postpartum. I didn't even know that existed.
The snapback culture of it all, that, after you've given birth to your child, how long should it take you to go back to your pre-pregnancy body? There's so much pressure. And
Ladies, I hope out there you're busy noting all these things out. Hi everyone, I am Lebohang Pakathi. I am a Keready communicator. Welcome to our podcast, and today we'll be talking about a very important topic. But before I go further into that, I'd like my two beautiful guests here, to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Lebohang. I'm Tebogo Jane Taratibu. I reside in Clayville in Ekurhuleni. I'm the co-founder of Basadi Medi Solutions, and which is a female or reproductive clinic. And I'm also the CEO of Medical Solutions and Reproductive Healthcare, which is based in Limpopo and also in Northern Park, Kempton Park. Thank you.
hi, everybody. Hi, guys. I'm Dr. Phumelela Sambumbu from Keready. I'm based in the Eastern Cape, but it's nice to have you guys here.
Thank you. As I heard you talking, Ms. Tebogo, you talk about your clinic, your women's clinic that you are running. And I'm very much interested in hearing about some of the things that you deal with. First of all, our topic today is women's health. We're going to be talking about women's health, and women's health, basically, it's a very broad topic, but it mainly focuses on the health issues that women experience. I'd like to just share an experience of mine. I had my daughter very late in life, but I feel like I was not prepared enough for the changes that come after pregnancy and the pregnancy itself. So, Ms. Tebogo, what would you say? How important is it to prepare, or rather, to make preparations for pregnancy? How important is it?
Yeah, it's very, very important. To start with, pregnancy is a journey. We perceive pregnancy as a sickness. We think we are ill because we never prepared for it. But if you are well prepared, that's why now with us, the generation, we are changing things. We even have classes for pregnant women. So that's why we always try by all means to inform from as little as teenage life. You need to try to teach them on how to prevent falling pregnant before time. Remember, there's some structures in the body, some organs that are not ready, which you need to prepare yourself, or you need to allow them to grow. For a child of 12 years, 14 years, some of the organs are not yet developed. So those are the things that need to be prepared. Even psychological, there's a lot of things. Pregnancy involves skin, psychological state, the but your whole system, actually it's your bladder, it's involved. You will be peeing now and then. There will be the but can you assist me, doctor? There's a lot of things that there's a lot when it comes to pregnancy that a woman needs to be prepared for, but most it's psychological state. Is this person ready? And are you in a stable relationship? That's the other thing that you need to know, because if you're not in a stable relationship, obviously you're not gonna be psychological stable. You're going to have a lot of problems. And it's also with your health wise. Remember, for a child of 12 years doesn't know what is happening. So you need to inform them time and again. It's good to prepare. I would say it's good to prepare that.
Thanks for mentioning that. I think it's so important to prepare, but I'm glad we're talking about this, because actually this morning I saw someone had tweeted or posted something on X, and she was actually saying that, well, I don't have a child, so it's difficult to speak from that experience. But she was actually just talking about how she definitely regrets having a child. She was saying, she loves her child, but it's her biggest regret. And if she were to have to do it again, she would choose not to have a child. And obviously people came for her. You know how people are. People came for her. They're like, how dare you say something like that? You've got a child already. But her point was that, she loves her child, but she just felt like she was not prepared for the journey of having a child, of being a mother. She just felt like it's not something that she wanted for herself. And just touching on the preparation preparation when it comes to having a child and becoming a mother, I think, excuse me, it's so difficult to prep because it's one of those things where it's a life-changing experience that you prepare for, but you can't fully prepare for what's going to come once you have the child and once you become a mother. And so I think it's an important topic to talk about, just touching on the fact that not everybody has to be a mother, first of all, because just because you can have a child, it doesn't mean you should have a child. It's important to really think, if you have the opportunity, especially to really sit and think about, are you fully prepared to raise a child? Are you fully prepared to have a human being that depends on you 100%, that you are supposed to raise, and you're going to have to support for the rest of their lives? Is it something that you truly want, or are you feeling societal pressures? Because there's so much pressure as well for women to, we grow up being told that this is your role. You're supposed to get married, you're supposed to do this, and then at some point you're supposed to have a child, and this is your natural path of becoming a woman and becoming a full woman, I guess. But no one talks about how, we don't have to have kids if we don't want to have kids.
True.
Because it's important to prepare for it, because obviously it has an impact on the child as well if you end up not feeling like this is what you wanted. So I think it's important to have those conversations, that it's important to prepare. You touched on obviously family planning, reproductive health, teaching young women about that, but then also the mental preparation of it, the emotional preparation of it, and then also knowing that in as much as you can prepare as much as you can, but at the end of the day, it's still a life-changing journey, and you must also be prepared for the unexpectedness of it all. So yeah, I think that's an important thing to touch on.
Yeah, to add on that, Doc, I've got a 20-year-old, which
Wow.
I still look at her, and
Wow.
with the responsibilities that comes with being a mother to her from 0 to 20 years, I thought it would be better. It's just getting worse every day.
Wow.
It's adding up.
Yeah.
Adding up. So there's never a time. Yes, we would like to be prepared, but there's never a time where you will say, I'm really ready. To give an example, I run a reproductive clinic where a woman will come. She is married, they are happy with the partner. She comes alone, requesting to terminate a pregnancy. And when you go through interviewing her, I love just talking, not that I'm judging or I'm changing their mind or so forth. I tell her, look, even someone who got married today being happy, the minute you test a pregnancy and you find that you're pregnant, you get shocked. You are not sure if you are ready to do this, because you were never in that stage that I want to fall pregnant. You still have to plan for a honeymoon. I've got maybe to do some other things by December. You've got 3 months to go. You're thinking by 3 months, my shape will be, I'll be losing my shape. There'll be a lot of things. So many people, they come for abortion clinics because they've got things that they've planned. 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, or a year. I still have to complete my degree, which it will disturb me. I cannot go for graduation with a big tummy. You always look further to say, 9 months to come, where will I be? I had plans. So it always comes as a distraction in many ways. Even if you can be so much prepared, as much as we want to be prepared, as much as we want to prepare our kids or our teenagers or our adults or whoever that is ready, there will be that background that will always say, I'm not sure I want to do this, because it comes. I thought I was sure, but with everything that comes, a bill from the university, you sit and say, I don't think I want to do it again. I really love my child, yes, but if I were to be given a chance to do it again, I don't know. I need to have a lot of, to me, it's finances. I don't think of other things. I can work hard. I can go to the gym, exercise, try to look good as well, but am I ready?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I'm wondering then, when you're talking about that, about whether is there anything that we can do then to, I know we spoke about how it's not easy to prepare, obviously. There'll always be something that's unexpected that's going to happen, or at least just the journey itself is generally, there's a big portion of it that's unexpected. But is there something that we can do? Because now, I've fallen pregnant. There's nothing I can do now. The baby's coming. I'm gonna have a child. So then, there's so many women who are experiencing these feelings that I wish I I could go back and I could change this, but it's happened now. So how can we better, I don't know, support women and help them to I don't know, to acclimate to this journey now. Now that you're a mother, there's nothing that you can change. I'm wondering how better can we support women through this period, whether it be, helping them navigate financially, emotionally, physically as well. What can we do? Because umntana ukhona, I can't change it. Akazuchik. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why, Doc, I always say you must, even if you can fall pregnant not unplanned.
Mm,
I would say the planned one, yes, obviously you knew what was coming for you, but unplanned one, that's why you always have options. You've got options. You can either take the child for adoption, you can either terminate, which terminate is the last one. You can either give the child to someone that you know they can assist you with. They groom the child for you or they raise the child for you. Or because keeping the child yourself, knowing that it's not possible, you can't even take care of your own self, psychologically, emotionally, financially, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect the same child mentally, as they were sitting here talking about their mental issues. That's where it's starting from. You bring the child into this life, but you're not ready yourself.
mm,
Do you think that child will ever be ready?
mm,
I'm not talking, there's a full ready that you want to be. I think I was ready until when I start to experience such things.
mm,
So that's why I keep on telling my daughter to say, look, this is not something that you can say, I want to fall pregnant. I've got a boyfriend that loves me. My mom is there too. I tell her, look, I've got so many eggs that I could have made 10 kids. But because I looked in the future, I wanted to take care of you, of which I'm still struggling with you alone. If you bring me another child, that means you are causing a strain to me, who wanted to raise one child. So those are the things that we need to keep on teaching our kids,
mm,
to say, just make sure you build your own life. You finish. I don't know if school is still something that we can talk about, to say you go to school, finish your school, and start working, of which they go to school, but they never get work or to be employed and stuff like that.
mm.
So, but they need to be ready. They need to know what to expect, because if you don't know what to expect, that's where you're going to be shattered.
Mm, mm. And I'm wondering for you, Lebo, because I know you touched that you had a baby at a late stage. I don't know what late stage is, but you said you had a baby at a later stage. And I'm wondering, are there things that perhaps you would have wanted to know, or even after having your child, things or ways that you would have wanted to be supported, by, or what's your experience, or what would you have liked in your journey of becoming a mother?
I think that one of the things that actually I feel like I should have known about before I had my daughter, um, there's what we call postpartum. I didn't even know that existed. Being a mom, it's a new experience, and it takes a lot from you. Um, that's one thing I was never prepared for, and I went through. I was my self-esteem was just I had to be with my daughter all the time. Um, it was a bit frustrating for me. Like it was so draining. It was so draining, and I was like, this I did not expect to go through. I was just thinking about, I'm gonna have a baby. It's gonna be exciting. I'm gonna be having this cute little person, holding this cute little person. But I did not think about how much work it is being a mother, always having to make sure she's clean, she's fed, and also your social life kind of dies because now there's this person you need to be with 24/7 a day, 24/7, and there's nothing you can do about it. This person depends solely on you. And I think it's also important, like Ms. Tebogo did mention, that having a partner that is there for you, that's another thing that I feel like is very important. And support, basically, even from family, the people that are in your life, the support is very important, because when you don't have that, you can go into depression easily. For me, that was my experience with the pregnancy, and I felt like, okay, I should have waited a bit, but maybe I was still going to experience it, because whether you like it or not, having a young child, it's it takes a lot from you. It takes a lot from you. And I feel like that's one thing that I was really not prepared for. Postpartum took me by surprise. I've been going on and on about postpartum. I'm sure some of our viewers may not really know what postpartum is. Ms. Tebogo, do you care to just explain a bit what postpartum is for those who do not know what it is?
Yeah, with postpartum, we're talking about the stage after birth, after you've delivered the baby, which there's a lot of changes as well. As much as you said you were not ready, you were just excited, you're gonna having a baby. There's a breastfeeding there, 24-hour, like on demand. You cannot ask your mother or anyone to keep the child. Even your partner will just be holding, but when the baby cries, it's you. And there will be a lot of discharges. As a woman, there will be a lot of secretions or discharges coming out there. The secretion from the breast, you will be having milk, and down there beside the milk, beside the blood, there will be a lot of different discharges that will be coming, sometimes with slight membranes, which you'll also be surprised was this contains just the lining of the endometrium or shedding out. So you need to be ready for such things. And again, with postpartum, we're talking about yes.
Yeah, we can talk about depression,
Yeah, the
postpartum depression.
postpartum depression, whereby your mood will just be swinging. You have such a bubbly person, but 2 minutes you're happy, 2 minutes you just cry. Everything that comes in just make you start crying. So it takes about six weeks.
Sure, it can take a while.
It can take a while,
Depending on how
yeah,
bad it is,
yeah.
how severe it
So you
is.
might even end up needing antidepressive medication.
Yeah, I remember with me, um, I went through a mental state that I was very down for a long time. I didn't even feel motivated to put makeup on because I don't have the time. My daughter was always crying, like, and she would sleep for like 15 minutes and then she's up and she needs my attention. And my mom is like, that's your baby. You take care of that baby. So that's another thing also. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think just talking about postpartum depression in general, it's important to understand because I know, especially, I don't know, amongst Black people, if I may put it like that, it's still something that we don't talk about a lot. Obviously, for people who are usually more in the urban areas who are used to hearing these terms, it's easier to pick up on what people are talking about and to eventually understand that it's something that exists. But there's still people who are in more remote areas who still maybe don't have access to this kind of information, who don't understand that it is a serious condition. And I mean, it can go from being mild to quite severe. It can have really, really bad symptoms or mild-ish symptoms. And you touched on this about how there's so many changes that happen after pregnancy. And a big part of those changes is the changes in the hormones as well. And that contributes a lot to this, the state of mental, emotional sort of being where you're feeling really anxious, you're feeling really down, you're feeling like you're not so connected as you think you should be to this baby, this human being who's now looking at you consistently and wants to be in your arms. You're feeling like, hey, I don't know this person. This person is a stranger to me. I don't really like this person. And it can go from, not being able to sleep, and we know how important it is to sleep and to get rest if you're going through, if you've just given birth to a baby and you're in your postpartum period, excuse me. So it's so important to understand that it's a serious condition. It's a medical condition. There's scientific sort of research behind it all. It's not just a feeling where people just say, oh, just snap out of it. Oh, now you want to complain because now you've given birth to this baby, but you wanted this baby. Yeah, you want extra attention. You want this, but it can be really, really serious. And you had touched on how you wished you could have had more support as well after having the baby. And that's such an important part of also helping someone through this postpartum depressive period. Having that support, having people who can at least take the baby, even if it's just for a while. Obviously the baby needs you more than it needs they need anybody else. But it's important at least to have that time where someone is like, okay, let me give you a break so that at least you can have some time to sleep, some time to just sit by yourself. And I don't have a child, but I've listened to so many moms and I hear a lot of them say, sometimes you kind of just want silence. Like you just want to sit and just have silence for just once, you know, and not talk to anybody and not have anybody scratching, wanting to touch your body and all of those things. So yeah, so it's such an important topic, such a vast topic. It's such a thing that I think still needs people to talk about even more. This postpartum depression that some people struggle with in a more severe way than other people, and they don't talk about it. They don't tell anybody about it because they feel so guilty that they're not connecting to this baby as they should, that they're feeling this way. And they don't know who to ask help from. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know who to tell about this. They don't even know that there are options. There are sort of treatment options for this kind of feeling that you are feeling. Like how you spoke about, you know, you can eventually need to be on antidepressants. Some people don't know that that is an option for you, so that you can feel better and you can be supported better during that period of time. So yeah.
You touched on wanting peace, and then there's this little person. My daughter would be pulling out my boobs
Oh no.
in public. She wants to breastfeed. So how important is it to breastfeed a baby, and how long should you breastfeed your child, Ms. Tebogo?
It's very important to, in the first few months, usually we say six months, of which we're looking at the fact that other mummies have to go to work. Expressing is not as easy, but we still encourage that you can still knock off and put the baby on the breast. I would say some they go up to 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. It's up to you, but you don't want to breastfeed until the child goes to crash you or start talking, telling you, hey, mommy, let's go to the room, because they'll start to be embarrassed, taking you to the room, sit down, I want to have my breast, such things. But you just need to give as much as you can. But it must not be in a way that it start distracting you, because you need to find a way to start another life. You need to start living a normal life. You don't want to be at a party, or after 6 months we expect you to be back to normal. Makaba, you are now starting to get back your shape. You start dating. If you want to date, you can start going out. So you don't want to be there having to put pads and all that. So you need to try to adjust so you can start having your life back. Yeah.
I want to touch on this, on what you were just saying now about the snapback, because that's such a big topic. The snapback culture of it all, that, you know, after you've given birth to your child, how long should it take you to go back to your pre-pregnancy body? There's so much pressure. And I promise you, I always see this on Instagram or somewhere on social media where, especially with a lot of like celebrity or well-known influencer people that have had their babies, and they post like a week afterwards, they snap back, like hashtag snap back. And you get so many comments in the comment section of women just wanting, how did you do it? You know, it's been 6 months, I'm still having my mkaba, like you were saying. But it's so sad because there's still so much pressure for women to snap back. And we just spoke about postpartum depression as well, and the fact that, you know, you're dealing with so much emotionally, mentally. Now you want to add having to go back to gym, having to eat healthy, having to, you know, tie your tummy so that it can go back to being flat within 2 weeks. Because then otherwise, if you take pictures, people are like, Kanti, when didn't you give birth? Already, why do you still have your pregnant tummy, you know? It's so sad that there's still so much pressure to do that. And then also just talking about breastfeeding as well, because I know as health professionals, we have, you know, we've got information that we put out there to say, like you were saying, you know, it's best to breastfeed your child for 6 months. These are the, you know, the benefits for your baby that it has, and all of those things. But sometimes we don't really consider all the other reasons why most women don't want to breastfeed. And one of those is also, you know, body image issues, that a lot of women still believe that if you breastfeed, your breasts, you know, will sag, and you don't want that, because you also want to look, you know, and especially now, shame, it's December, you've just given birth, people are having their thighs out, their tummies out, you also want to be part of that, and you're like, me, I must breastfeed this baby so that my breast can look like that. Nah. So I think it's important to talk around that as well, around, you know, I don't know, the benefits of of breastfeeding for the mom specifically, because there are definitely benefits for the mom. I mean, there is research that shows that, moms that breastfeed actually tend to lose weight faster than moms that don't breastfeed. And women need to know that, because then it's important for you to know, so that you don't think, okay, if I breastfeed, or if I do this, then my body won't go back. Actually, it's the other way around. It could actually help you to get your body back faster. But also, just generally on this topic of just like snapping back, ish, guys. I don't know how else we can try to make it normalized for women to take their time. There's no pressure. There shouldn't be pressure. Take your time. So I don't know how else. Maybe we can chat about that. How else we can try to better, forward this message that it takes time, and you've just done something incredible. I mean, giving birth is a miracle. Carrying a child is a miracle. You've just done something incredible. How can we make sure that women don't feel this unnecessary pressure to snap back, so much so that, some, like what we're saying, they don't want to breastfeed, which may compromise the things that the baby could be benefiting from the breastfeeding. But because mom is so obsessed with this idea that I need to get back to this body, how can we better support them?
It goes back to, are you ready? It's the, are you ready? Like the first question that comes to say, do you think a woman needs to be ready? They need to be prepared. They need to be ready, because if you're not ready, you'll be shocked. You get frustrated because you want to fight these fats. The baby fat takes time.
Yes.
Yes, you are having big boobs, they are painful, they are having secretions, and you don't want that because you want to go out.
Does it take more time than losing normal weight? Is baby weight more stubborn than normal
It's
weight?
more especially, as you're saying, if you're not breastfeeding, those who really want to lose weight, they don't believe in breastfeeding. If you don't breastfeed, remember when you breastfeed, there will be those oxytocin hormones that are being secreted on your body, like you will be the tummy will start to contract, the uterus will take back the shape. It assists you in every way, like all the discharges will start coming out if there were little things that were still remaining. So it assists you. It's a nature, that's how nature is. But if you want to do it the other way around, it takes more time. Yeah.
How long did it take you to?
Me, it took me long because I was not actually, my daughter, I breastfed for 2 months, and then I just got a job and I had to leave my child with the father and my mom. So it took me long because of that. But I believe, because I've seen, it's just like typical example. Have you seen a dog after giving birth? Because they breastfeed, they lose weight. That's why in our say we're saying, when someone has lost too much weight, they resume to say, because it's something that loses weight too fast because they keep on breastfeeding. They're being sucked every time. So you lose weight because you eat, it gets taken by someone else. Your digestion takes place and someone takes it. So it's the process faster. So I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have breastfed for much longer because I'm still fighting umkhala. Ladies, I hope out there you're busy noting all these things down so that you guys can lose the baby weight. You must breastfeed the babies.
Yeah, breastfeeding has got its own benefits.
It does.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
People should just shy away from, oh, now, or the whole me. Now I breastfed my child. I remember the first month, it was my graduation, and I was on exclusive breastfeeding. In the whole crowd, the child with the father was sitting up there and crying, screaming in the hall. I was wearing a book. I had to walk with my gown, removed my breast, and everyone was like, wow. I'm like, I'm not going to teach people what I'm not going to do. It's just unfortunate I got a job earlier, but I was going to breastfeed. It took me more time I was wearing size 38 from size 30, 32. Now I'm at 34, 36. You see, she's 20 years. I've not gone back. I still wish I could go back to size 32, 34, but it's not gonna get there.
I'm glad you talk about your experience about how you breastfed for only 2 months.
Yeah.
Because there's so much breastfeeding shaming,
Yeah.
if we're being honest. And sometimes most of the time it comes from health professionals, but it also comes from other, women who've done research. There are super moms who do research, who are like, I've got a binder before I give birth. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. So there's so much breastfeeding shaming, where women who don't breastfeed for this period that's stipulated, the 6 months that everybody talks about, then people say, you're not serious. You don't want to take care of your child. You don't take this thing seriously. But it's important to know that it's not one size fits all, right? And that's why I'm glad you spoke about it as a health professional yourself, that even you didn't, go the full 6 months for various reasons. And there are so many reasons why women don't breastfeed for that entire 6 months. It can be due to health problems, it can be emotional issues. I know, I don't know why, because I'm not a mom, but I follow a lot of moms. Like Instagram or social media in general, and I always hear them talk about how the struggle of reaching that 6 months, where at some point you just feel like, I just want my body back. Because like this experience that you say, where I'm like, hey, someone's constantly scratching at your body and you're like, can I have my body? Can I just keep my breasts to myself? But there's this one person who's always wants this claim onto your body. So some women may feel at some point that, emotionally, for me, I can't do this anymore, where I'm constantly having someone hanging on to me. So there's so many reasons. Some may have illnesses that may prevent them from completing that 6 months, work related issues, not producing enough milk even. Those are serious things that can cause one to not complete that 6 months. So I'm glad we're talking about that, because it's important to note that even though we talk about that 6 months, and it is very important for the baby, but obviously, there are many reasons why one person may not be able to complete that 6 months. And that's okay too. That's also fine.
That's okay.
I'm even scared to say this, because I know in my field, it's like, don't say that, don't encourage people to put babies on formula. But it's okay, because it's not a one size fits all. And as long as your baby's healthy, your baby's growing,
And you can afford.
that's
afford
fine.
even the baby else.
Even
Yes,
the
if
baby else.
it happens that you don't want to breastfeed, I know I can just go and cut my fats with the
And just move on with my life.
cut my fats after a week. I show off my flat tummy. If you can afford, why not?
True.
It comes back to, are you prepared? Financially, it's part of it. It's part of being prepared.
And then maybe what are the other general things? Oh, okay. So I think our time.
You've heard it, Dr. Phumelela and Ms. Tebogo, they've said it. Breastfeed your kids so that you lose that mukaba faster, and also be prepared for pregnancy, guys. Do your research, take your time, and please do understand that postpartum is something serious. You don't have to put yourself under pressure because you saw an influencer who lost weight fast and now you are putting pressure on yourself. Relax, ladies, take your time, enjoy your journey, and you'll be just fine. Thank you, Dr. Phumelela.
Can I just 2 minutes to add on that? Let's just encourage for them that preparedness. You need to be on contraceptive. There's no mudimun to say when it comes to pregnancy, because you'll wait for those periods, they'll never come.
Yeah.
And you are having another one while you've got 3 months old baby. Yeah.
That's why our Keready mobile clinics are there, to make sure you get that family planning. Do visit our mobile clinics and get that family planning so that you can prepare yourself for pregnancy, because it is very important to prepare yourself. Thank you to our wonderful guests, Dr. Phumelela and Ms. Tebogo. It has been such a wonderful conversation, and I hope everybody who's watching learned as much as I have. I've learned so much. Thank you, and do visit our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Keready SA, and our WhatsApp line 060 019 0000. Thank you and goodbye.